Hello. It is always good to be back. And once again, this is Talk Shop, your favorite Ijadem show. This is Talk Shop where we tell it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. And as we always say, truth crashed to earth shall always rise again. And that's why after having said all of that, I'll ask you the question and you give me the same answer. What time is it, folks? It's nation time. Yes, it's nation time. This is a gathering of nationalists. So with Hanyafreno, this is a gathering of patriots and nationalists who have come together to help build this nation. Because no matter what, as I say all the time, still, Ghana will rise. Ghana rise. And before I start today, let me give a big shout out to the guys on YouTube, Delhi. And I think on my last episode, I said, my age group of people that are watching are between 30 and 44 or something. And I was very happy that you are the next bunch of leaders and I'm glad you are listening. And Delhi sent me a post. They said, hey, me, I'm Gen Z, but I'm on board already. So show some love for Delhi. And tell all the Gen Zs also to come on board. But Delhi, thank you very much for your support and patronage. What am I talking about today? It's very interesting. Those of you who have not seen or did not see my YouTube posting that I did, I think some months ago, way before the election, it is named as Nana Addo dropped the ball. I would like you to take a look at it if you didn't see it. Why am I talking about that? Because after the loss of the NPP, they did the right thing. I think they formed a committee headed by the distinguished Professor Michael Okwe to look into why did the NPP lose this election. And I'm saying go back and watch that show because I was surprised when I heard that Michael Okwe had been set up as chairman to look into why. I was saying, oh, so you're really telling me you don't know why? I think it was pretty obvious. Oh, by the way, just so you know, bandage is gone. No. It's still not there. The strength they count small, but I have to give you updates, man. It's still on retirement. But anyway, back to the case. I was quite surprised. First, there was a decision that there need to be a committee set up to investigate this.
The party will, in the months of January 2025, set up an effective and objective election review committee to undertake a post-mortem into the outcome of the election. The committee will engage all party stakeholders and the general public on the factors and circumstances leading to our defeat.
Okay, so, and I'm glad they found it necessary to say, Charlie, we have lost. So we need to sit down and examine the reasons why we lost. And I believe that Professor Michael Okwe was chosen as chairman to look into the issue. And after a while, I think that the results have come out. And the results generally indicate that I guess 90% of the blame has been put on Nana Addo, his leadership, his failures and everything. The blame has been put on the doorstep of Nana Akuffo Addo for having failed the country, and the results of the election are all blamed on him. Let me say this very, very quickly. According to what they released, there were a few reasons. I think one of them was that he was an intransigent leader, not listening. One of them was saying that he didn't even do any reshuffle to change ministers as much as people were complaining. There was this complaint that I think 87 people of the majority then, NPP people, actually led a crusade that they want Ken fired.
Are of great concern to the greater majority of members of our caucus and our constituents. We have made our grave concern to the President through the parliamentary leadership and the leadership of the party without any positive response. We are by this medium communicating our strong desire that the President change the Minister of Finance and the Minister of State in the Finance Ministry without further delay in order to restore hope into the financial sector and reverse the downward trend in the growth of the economy. The summary of our concerns leads to a plea that the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kenneth Ofori-Atta, and the Minister of State of the Ministry of Finance, Honorable Charles Edubuahi, be removed from office. We want to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, that until such persons as aforementioned are made to resign or removed from office, we, members of the majority caucus here in Parliament, will not participate in any business of government by or for a president by any other minister. We hope that those of us on the backbench and members of the majority caucus will abide by this prayer. We are saying that if our request is not responded to positively, we will not be present for the budget hearing, neither we will participate in the debate. Thank you very much.
And they went to see the president. The president told them why he can't fire them, and he will do that as soon as one or two things to give them a reason. So these are some of the reasons they have listed by the committee why the NPP lost. One reshuffle, intransigent. He didn't remove King of Satire. And one of the things too that they spoke about was the removal of Chairman as the majority leader, and other things. I want to give you my take on everything, First thing that surprised me was that really, what his name was on my show, Kwabena Menu, the USA, Ghana, NPP rep, was it Kwabena Menu, Pancho? He came on my show and he had talked about all of these things. So I'm saying I was a bit surprised when the whole committee sat and met and then decided that these are the reasons. I thought it was clear enough. When you watch Drop the Ball, these are some of the things we had mentioned. But let's move on. What upset me about the whole report was this. Practically everything was blamed on Nana Addo's presidency. Yeah, it could be true, and it holds water. Yes, because as president, he wasn't listening. Or maybe people were talking to him, he wasn't listening, or people were just not talking to him. As president, he was very disrespectful on occasions. As president, he was very dismissive. As president, I think he was a bit too partisan and forgot his national image as the president of the whole country.
Because if it's a question of counting who votes for me and who doesn't vote for me, I shouldn't be here, because you don't vote for me.
And on and on and on and on. I have quite a few reasons why, when I did Nana Addo Drop the Ball, I said, it's going to be hard for the NPP to come back. Go and listen to what I said. But folks, when I saw the report and I realized that 90% of the blame is going to Nana Addo, I said, yeah, well, it is true to an extent. Let me tell you something. Yes, it is true. I've said all the things about Nana Addo that I disagreed with. I just mentioned them all. And yes, 90% plus of the blame has been put on his doorstep. But you know what I think? Even more than whatever mistakes Nana Addo made, whatever wrongdoings Nana Addo did, whatever his pronouncements were, and the reasons why all the failure has been ascribed to him, no matter what they say, what upsets me most is not the fact that all the reasons that they gave were. You know what I think was most pathetic? What upset me is that a party like the NPP that brags and prides itself of having people with intelligence. Oh, we know NPP of the past. Very intelligent, elite group of thinkers were in the party. What upset me now All of you are getting together to blame Nana Addo. But you know what is upsetting me? That you all sat down, and I'm talking here including the Council of Elders? Yeah. You all sat down, including the Council of Elders, and allow one man to dictate the flow and pace of the party. And the funny thing is, trust me folks, I know people, and I have always been in interaction with big league members of the NPP. And sometimes I will meet them and I'll tell them, but when they start complaining, NPP bigwigs, so when they start complaining about Nana Addo and then I say, but you're a big man, why don't you just tell him? Why don't you? Do you know what they'll say? Oh, this man, what does he listen to? You know what I'm saying? So as much as I think Nana Addo became autocratic and whatever he became, I am even saddened by the fact that this bunch of intelligent people, this brand of people who pride themselves in we have the men, there was nobody could stand up for 8 years to point out to Mr. President, to tell him, Mr. President, you are a leader, you are the president, but these things that you are doing there, I can't say with him, at Shakakra, nobody saw what happened. Nobody could see it coming. I think that's the part that surprises me most, though. When I read the committee report and how Nana Addo is now the center of the blame, I say the buck stops with the leader, so he should take the blame. But as much as I blame him, let me question the Council of Elders. Let me question all of you who are allegedly intelligent members of the party. But nobody could speak. Now, so who is Nana Addo listening to? Because as much as I deal with NPP people, and as much as they complain to me, as much as they were saying how unhappy they were, nobody in the party could stand up and say, please, Nana Addo, respectfully, I think you shouldn't go this way. That is what puzzles me. And that's what makes me sad. Because when you get to a country when nobody is bold enough to tell the president they're doing the wrong thing, it's sad. Let's listen to what Hamid said about this a situation like this. Listen to him.
So that is what President Mahama is doing. The opinion leaders, the big people in our country who can speak truth to power, who can tell him the truth, he bribes them with land cruisers. We will not bribe them. We will give it, we will put it in the village so that they can tell us the truth if we go wrong. That's how to run a country. My father used to tell me that, look, my son, if you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time.
And I concur 100% with my good friend there. He said it was so sad that when you get to the stage when people are afraid to question you, then you've lost it all. You heard him. And let me ask him now, did he ever realize that Nana Addo was getting to that stage that people were afraid to tell him the truth? Or that didn't happen under the NPP? So folks, all I'm saying is this. I've read the report, or I've read some parts of the report in Ghana, maybe the other parts coming up. But generally, the reasons that they have assigned is missing one big factor. And that big factor was the emasculation of the entire party. The emasculation of the entire media. Not one person, not one. Some of us foolish ones who were stupid enough to mention a few things, what did you say about us? We are listening to our paymasters. And President Mahama, I know you are listening, or even if you are not listening, I know it will brought your attention. Fortunately, I can say with confidence that you are not like that. I don't see any ounce of arrogance in you. I don't see intolerance in you. And I see that you try to listen. You may have made your mistakes. You are a human being. So I'm sure you made your mistakes. But generally, I think that when it comes to accommodating other views other than yours, you are more accommodating. And the only thing I always say is that, what's his name? Professor Mate, the moderator of the Presbyterian Church, he gave you hell. Remember what he was when he was asking that we need wise men to rise up because the NDC is messing Ghana up. And yourself, way more. Things have gotten so bad. So he was screaming, where are the men who are intelligent? Meaning that the whole NDC was full of unintelligent people. And yourself, and I'm saying this because when Mahama met Professor Mate, moderator then, the warm embrace, the handshake, the hug, I was like, wow, this man, you are tolerant, because any other leader would have thought, oh, let me snub him. He's been bashing my government, let me snub him. But that didn't happen. Oh no, so let's get back to the case. I was just hoping and trusting that this level of intransigence will not be fulfilled. But let's get on. Let me ask the entire past Council of Elders, where the hell were you? Did you hear everything? And among some of the things you listed to was Chairman leaving as majority leader to bring in Afenyo Markin. NPP, what were you thinking? We Chairman, such a, I call him a colossus of an MPP, of an MP. Chairman was a colossus MP. He understood the parliament. He knew how to communicate, whether you agree with him or not. His system of communication had a strong measure of intelligence backing him up. I may disagree with one or two things, but I'm saying overall, also he must have had his mistakes. But to remove him as leader of the majority, at least replace him with somebody of substance. Who did you choose? Afenyo Markin. Hey, take it easy. Don't move there. Who did you choose? Afenyo Markin. So boisterous. I'll go to court. I'll do the. That's what you chose? That was the best choice? To fire or say Chairman and bring in your new Afenyo Markin to lead the majority? Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting where he has led you to? He's led a whole contingent of a majority in parliament to a desperate minority in parliament because of his intransigence, because of his approach to things, this boisterous, cantankerous nature that is not really in sync with politics of 2025. We have to upgrade everything. And the sad part for me today is that after I've seen all the things you have listed, even in a minority of 88 people or less, things haven't changed. I'm telling you, there's still a sense of intransigence. There's still a sense of arrogance. There's still a sense of we know it all. And unfortunately, it's not coming from the entire 88 people or so, but the leader. Under Akuffo Addo. The same thing that Nana Addo did, that you are now telling us all that is the reason why NPP lost. So you have come back in a minority to repeat the same arrogance, but this time you think the results will be different. I really don't get it. And I'm actually quite even surprised that Anadon is still in Ghana Parliament holding himself out as an honorable, sitting in the seat, actually vetting other ministers because he's honorable. My goodness, call me idealist, but I think we have gotten to the stage where we should smoke people out who do not deserve, I won't say who do not belong, maybe they belong to Parliament because the people voted for him. But does it mean they deserve to be there? That one I leave to the speaker to decide. But things are wrong. So you are not Dompre, Afenyo marking. You think that now the NPP has a new look and that things are now being done differently? That's why I've said and I've warned on this program, if you have heard me or not, I say when I see things that are happening now, you're leading the NPP to end up with splinter groups popping up. The original NPP core, the core, I like the word intelligentsia, the elite, the original thinkers have been stepped aside. And you're allowing the weeds to come in and destroy the agenda. And I'm saying this, look at the people in a party like the NPP. The NPP prides itself, we have the men, which simply means that we have the intelligent capacity. We have people with the intelligent capacity to move this country. We have the man. And when the vice president was announcing his economic team, he ended up by saying, what a solid team. We have the man.
When I look at the economic management team, Professor Jambafo, Dr. Akutose, Dr. Afriye Akoto, Honorable Alan Chiremanting, Boachi Ejaku, Ken Oforiata, Senior Minister Yao Osafo Mafu. What a solid team.
However, who were the men that were vocal that we could hear? Shema Wuntumi, NPP, Party of Intelligentsia. How can somebody like Shema Wuntumi even be your regional minister? Massa, what about him reflects the decency of a politician, the sobriety of a good communicator, the strength of a leadership that Wuntumi hold, that you lovingly made him the chairman of the Ashanti region? Wuntumi.
Na Akuffo Addo de da bia meka me say ada onye president bi o me say anhwe ya ye wa ha na country bi aba say yemfa no mboro wo mo no mra be di president ma wo so kai say enkroma bra yetu no so kai say okokoye co-president e wa Guinea. What I say, he was a co-president to Guinea, and I'm say Akuffo Addo has break Kwame Nkrumah record, and Akuffo Addo me say enya me nwanwa say London and NASA America kura no. What I say, omubeka say niema Akuffo Addo aye no, maybe they want him to come to become a president there to change and stabilize the whole world.
And the other character, quite honestly, Abronye, speaks by heart. If you haven't heard him, just please tune into Wuntumi TV. If you don't see him today, you see him tomorrow. If you don't see him tomorrow, you see him the day after tomorrow. Because that was the haven for the lunatic fringe. If you want something ridiculous to say, please go to Wuntumi TV. They're always there.
Because Dampara is an appointee. Oh, yeah, appointee. Are you saying Dampara threatening the president? Is that what you're saying? What threatening on so many occasions using the media? What president? What the president? No, Dampara actually president. Or the media no? President no? Dampara is inciting some people against the government. Some of them are untouchable. I am saying this, me say Dampara actually president.
How could they have been representing a respected party like the NPP? And when some of us mentioned it, they say we are on payroll. I remember coming on this program to tell you that I'm assuring you that nobody can afford me. Nobody. I don't care if the NDC does right, I'll praise them. If they mess up, I will give it to them. If the NPP does the right thing, I will praise them. If they mess up, I'll give it to them. After as much as I gave it to Bawumia, what happened when he conceded the election? I came and sat straight in this chair and I praised him for saving Ghana. because that concession saved this nation, believe it or not. Maybe he saw it coming, maybe he knew it, I don't know what it is. But the decision to concede early saved this nation. And I will say that until I can say it no more. But Bawumia deserves some credit. So I've hit him so many times where I think he went wrong. And that's what I'm talking about. When we are advising that, Charlie, the characters you have representing the party do not reflect intelligence. Now, honestly, I saw in their report as well, they said the Achim Mafia. Really? It bothered you? The Achim Mafia bothered you? And you kept silent night, holy night. You kept silent? And nobody from the Council of Elders to whoever could mention, say, Mr. President, your alliance with this Achim factor is weighing you down. And unfortunately, Dochehni, Nana Boatia, you know, also gained some prominence that baffled people. Yeah, he can gain prominence. He's the leader of a whole people. But certain statements that even came out of that quarters, that if you criticize Nanado, we are crossing it. The 2 years.
The woman me back as for so far the account say. Yenyai. Yenyai ma papa ye ni so de ne catch say you appreciate me wa yama o man Ghana. Na ye so no mu emmo no ho ban. Obi aso na okasa no. Nkwase for ma. Say nye se kwase na wo obaifo.
How can such a statement come from an authority like Osheni? But it came out freely. And I'm saying all these things were happening. The impact, or should I say, the negative impact of the perceived doings of the Achim Mafia, you saw, but nobody wanted to touch it. Now you sit down and you say, these are the reasons why we lost. Folks, all I'm saying is this. I think the best advice is from Mustafa.
So that is what President Mahama is doing. The opinion leaders, the big people in our country who can speak truth to power, who can tell him the truth, he bribes them with land cruisers. We will not bribe them. We will give it, we will put it in the village so that they can tell us the truth if we go wrong. That's how to run a country. My father used to tell me that, look, my son, if you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country, wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time.
When you have any leader, and when it gets to the point that people around the leader or people serving with the leader are afraid to point the truth to them, they're doomed. And President Mahama, that's why I also did a show. Oh my goodness, show is the Mayebio. I also did a show and advised that sycophancy will pull you down. Check on YouTube, check in my, the sycophancy in politics pulls down the leaders. Sycophancy, then he does no wrong. Everything he does is right. The funny thing is that even when he himself possibly thinks that he went wrong, those around him say, oh, Debbie, you were right. It's okay, don't mind them. Don't mind those people on payroll. Keep doing what you're doing. And you knew you were leading him to the gutter. But that's sycophancy. So I'm surprised that you even had to hire a whole committee to sit down and say, let's go and analyze why we didn't win. Massa, we did the show. Check out, it's on YouTube. You meet a handful and you instruct that they should stand up before they shake you. These things were sending bad signals. You didn't know all of this? And if you did, why did you keep quiet? And it is because of your quietness. That's why the NPP is where it is today. Please, that's why Sophia Akuffo, wherever you are, I will salute you again. She was made a member of the Council of State. And she said it straight from day one, me, I'm not a yes master person. Do you know what a yes master person is? A sycophant. Anything that the president says, oh yes, boss. Anything that the president does is okay. So for Akuffo has made it straight up, says yes, I'm happy to join the Council of Elders to advise the president. But I want the president to know that I haven't come here to kiss ass.
The Council of State is a body that is supposed to be advising the president. I'm not going to sing his master's voice, so to speak. An advisor does not parrot. An advisor speaks with honesty. An advisor looks to the best interest, not only of the person they are advising, but of the function the person is serving.
I have come to serve my nation. And if what Mahama is doing is right, yes, I'll be behind him. And for God's sake, if it's wrong, I'll point it out to him. That's what we need. We need courageous people as the Council of State. We need courageous people as members of Parliament. We need courageous people who surround the president. The president is not God. The president is a human being as fallible as you and I. And the only thing that can keep them on their toes is truth being told to them. But so long as you allow sycophancy to let you lie, and sadly, the president is in loose guard and start believing in the lie, they are gone. So for me, I'm sorry, there was, I respect you for choosing a committee, but I think general, go to your grassroots, go to your friends and everything. That's what me, you won't come to me because you say I'm on the payroll. But go to other people who aren't on the payroll, who you believe. And they all would have told you the same thing. Without to have the worrisome of establishing a committee to find out what was going on. Please understand this. And I'm totally saying that, yeah, the buck stops with the leader. So I understand if you blame him, but I will also point it out to you. And of course, pointing out to you for being in the past and pointing out to the NDC for being in the present, that if you follow suit, if you are afraid to speak with your president, if you are afraid to correct your president, you're doomed. You know, I don't understand why people are afraid to correct the president if what they're doing is wrong. And you see and you know that but you say, oh no, I don't want to upset the president. The president is not God. The worst thing that can happen in any government is to surround yourself with sycophants who cannot look the president in the eye and say, Your Excellency, Mr. Mahama, Pacho, this is not right. That's how you rule a nation. That's how. It baffles me, folks. So all the going ups and the downs of this cathedral, bringing a stone from Israel to be the cornerstone of the cathedral, how colonial can we think? How myopic can the people be say, we are paying money Israel, Akuffo Addo. And that will be the cornerstone of some so-called cathedral we are building. Nobody was brilliant enough to look Nana Addo in the face and say, this is a needless thing. Especially when women who are delivering babies, Ghanaian children, are lying on the floor in hospitals. You're going to waste $58 million to build a cathedral. And nobody, when I make her know, the show that I did called Komi, it was the same thing. Said, how is it that everybody are you come? I mean, I don't know Nana Addo's system of the rule here and the kind of reason he was supposed to impose such fear. People either were happy or were afraid. Nobody. After 8 years, I feel 1 year. Anyone, please, let's be serious. Pualugu Dam, you have the vice president of the country sitting down saying, oh, every government talks about establishing the Pualugu Dam, but nobody was able to do it. But we have done it, and this is a landmark accomplishment.
The most important project here in the north since independence, a Pualugu Dam project.
Okay.
Is the biggest investment. Say we're drawing books no more since independence.
Okay. As I watch it.
How I check government be by I say Pualugu Dam. But we're here as a signature project and in Ebeda #1. So there's no doubt about that.
Meanwhile, the money for Pualugu is being chopped. Nobody. I'm sure there were people who would have wanted to point things out. And you say you are forming a committee to find out why? Massa, all the money we have borrowed from the IMF, and we are struggling to pay back or not even paying back. But at the same time, we were able to cook the books to give to IMF. So, okay, and yes, because of the help, we're able to cook the books and frame things. Nobody. I think that's the part that hurts me. You know, and this huge investment for the Bank of Ghana, which is not complete anyway, even though it has been commissioned and opened, I hear that it is nowhere near completion. So until it is completed, it's just a vanity project. We were bold enough to do all of this. We sat down quietly when our elders who have served this nation, when Ghanaians, prominent Ghanaians, home and abroad, who have bought bonds, because government bonds are supposed to be your surest banker for future investments, who have spent all that money on bonds. We sit down and let the finance minister come and tell us that, sorry, we owe. And so we are doing debt restructuring. And the effects of the debt restructuring is that all of you elders who have worked your whole life for this country, people are putting their whole lives of savings. All of you, I'm sorry, we're going to give you a haircut. Let us put it straightforward. The haircut there looks like nice that they can go to the salon and get a haircut for free. No, I'm sorry, the money that you have invested, I am taking it all away from you. You have lost every dime you've had. People of age, aged people, me and upwards, have died. They have had stroke. Master, you have no idea. If you are young, it doesn't really occur to you. But if you are a grown person and you have worked for the last 40 to 50 years, and you have invested in government bonds, hoping that now, in your golden years that you have retired and you are sitting home, you are going to reap the investments of what you have put out, because you can no longer work. When you have to retire, you can now sit down and relax and enjoy your investments. That is the time that the government tells you, Pacho, we have overborrowed. And we are in debt. And we have to sacrifice to pay the debt. So you are going to suffer. We can't pay your investments. You don't think people will die? You don't think that this can cause people to die? And you're surprised that the NPP lost? Let's get our acts together, man. Let's get our acts together. Folks, me and I know several others, the way that we have put our life, our intelligence, everything on the line, that we have to make sure Ghana succeeds, because never again should we look our elders in the face and tell them all your savings, are here. Bam. Just like that. Never again. Folks, such a sad thing for us. And you're surprised, and you need to set up a committee to find out why the NPP became unpopular. And the worst part is this. Where's the change? Now the new emerging NPP is led by Afenyo King. The new emerging NPP is led by Afenyo King, and his close aides are not Dompre. And their ilk, they have come to take over the party. Massa, Afenyo King, you have shrunk the party from a majority of saying 169 to a desperate 87. And still boisterous, and we won't do this and we won't do that. That is the arrogance and intransigence that cost you the election. Change! Folks, some of us are determined, because we have said it all the time, that if, and it's a big if, and God forbid, you can't say Tofiakwa, meet me for left in your papa, but Tofiakwa. If JM and the NDC should come and mess up again, we are doomed for good. After what we just came from. But I trust and I'm hopeful that all of us who are interested in building this nation will get involved. It won't be easy, it will be tough, there will be rough moments, but we have to brace ourselves for the turbulence and get involved and make sure that this country rises again. Because, like I said all the time, all the nation records are still doing it. Trust me, if you think Jandam is over, NDC, still sit up properly. Some warning shots have been fired already, and I won't talk about them now. But some warning shots have been fired, so we know the direction. But my thing is this, but this time the only lesson we have learned from the loss of the NPP, and the lesson that we have learned, that it was the silence of the intelligent people that led to the loss. We'll make sure that we will never be silenced again, and we'll make sure that we put the pressure on NDC to do the right thing. And in fact, let me end now, because I'll be back again very, very soon. But for now, folks, truth, cash to earth shall rise again in this nation time, and we'll be with you again soon.